Well, hello everyone, friends, family, everyone on Facebook that follows me. You've seen my updates, and I've talked a little bit about, in writing, what's been going on with my health. And I haven't, I guess, told the whole story, so I wanted to tell everybody here what's been going on. So, this started at the end of February, and I was at a board meeting and I blacked out for just a second or two. Wasn't very long, but I blacked out. The next day I went to work and I was helping. Sorry, I'm trying to look somewhat decent. I was trying. I was helping a homeowner with an issue in her backyard with some irrigation, and she noticed that I started sweating profusely, and I was getting kind of shaky, and I told her I needed to go sit down. So she took me inside, and I sat on her staircase and had a bottle of water, and she took me to urgent care. At that time, they said that I had a really bad ear infection, and they gave me some antibiotics, and I went home. The next day, I went to work, and I felt a little bit better, but not great. It was that weekend. I was in my bedroom and I was really feeling bad. And I came here into the living room and I asked Jeremy, I said, would you please take me to the emergency room? I didn't think I was going to make it. I could barely walk. I was having a hard time functioning, and I literally thought I was going to die. There's no other way to explain it. I felt that bad. So I made it to the emergency room, and they, of course, did a bunch of tests and everything, and my blood pressure was really, really high at that time. Not as high as it would be in future ER visits, but it was pretty high. So we went there, they gave me some medicine, gave me an IV, and I felt a little bit better after that. And that lasted about a week, and then I started feeling bad again. So I had a week that was kind of okay, and I was going to work the following week, and I ended up stopping at the emergency room because I was having a hard time breathing. And so they did all the tests again, the stroke test. Can you touch your nose? Can you touch my hand? Yada, yada, yada. Their preliminary diagnosis was something called Meniere's disease, which is an inner ear issue that affects balance and anything along that nature. So we said, great, now we have a name for it. And I actually found a doctor here in town that I really liked, so I started seeing her. And before I saw her, I had one more ER visit, and that's when my blood pressure was really high. It was like 222 over 160. And the nurse came in and asked me, she goes, how have you not had a stroke? And I said, I don't know how I've not had a stroke, but I haven't. So anyway, then I saw the doctor. She changed my blood pressure medication. That's fine. She wanted me to come in and do an A1C test, and on that day I did, and I wasn't feeling really well. And my friend Christy drove me. And I remember when Christy came to the house, I walked outside, and she was sitting on our couch we have outside, and I just hugged her and broke down in tears. I was so sick of it. I felt so awful. So I had my A1C test. And for those who don't know, that tests your blood sugar. And we were hoping it was diabetes. I'm fat. It should be diabetes, right? No, my blood sugar's perfect. Um, and all my blood work has been really good. So while we were at the doctor's office, I kept feeling like I was going to pass out, and they said go to the ER. So luckily, the ER is right behind the doctor's office, maybe 100 feet behind it. So Christy took me over there, and of course they did all the tests again. I had CT scans, I had all that fun stuff, and they started thinking maybe it's anxiety. And so they gave me some anxiety medication, and that seemed to help a little bit. But they only gave me one pill there at the hospital. So I think it was that night or the night after, um, I had to go back to the ER, and they did a bunch of other tests and stuff again. And it was not, once again, everything came back fine. And they said, go see a cardiologist. The following night, I started having another episode. And Jeremy gave me a Xanax and to calm me down. And I went from really high strung, like feel like I was going to black out, feel like I was not going to make it through the night again, to living in this la-la land where I ended up building a fort in my bedroom and sleeping on the floor, excuse me, for 5 hours, which was fine. So I saw the cardiologist about 2 or 3 days later, and I didn't feel well in there either. I kept feeling like I was going to black out. They did an EKG. Of course, I've had several, and all those have always ended up fine. So once I left there, I started feeling better. I called my doctor and spoke with her, and she gave me some anxiety medication. And that has really kind of helped turn a lot of things around when I start having these episodes. There are moments where I don't feel good. I don't feel great right now, but knock on wood, I haven't had a really bad episode like that again. So since I've left the cardiologist, I've had an echocardiogram done. And of course, they don't give you the results, but the guy doing it, I asked him, I said, is there anything wrong there, anything out of place? He goes, nah. I've done a sleep study because I'm pretty sure I do have sleep apnea. I snore like a crazy person, and I wake up exhausted every day. So we'll see what the sleep study says. I won't know that until June 1st. I won't know any of these results officially until June 1st. They gave me a heart monitor to wear for a week, which I currently have on. That's that little square right there. So if you see a light flash from inside my shirt, that's what that is. Next week, I go in and they're doing a renal artery scan. Just make sure there's no blockage there. And then the following week, I'm doing a chemical stress test and PET scan at the same time. So that's going to, hopefully rule out any blockages or anything weird. But at the ER, they said they don't think I have any blockages. I've had no stroke. There's no signs of any heart stress from the blood work or anything like that. I've also seen an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor. They checked my hearing. My hearing is fine because I keep having this ear issue. And she wants a CAT scan, of course, with more IVs and dyes. So I'm going to try to get that done at the cardiologist while I'm there, and already hooked up to all that stuff. But her preliminary diagnosis, being an ENT, was Meniere's disease. And she said, if you have Meniere's disease, you have a very odd version of it, but you do tick a lot of the boxes. If that's what this boils down to, it's chronic. There is no cure. There's medication to help. But so far, the anxiety pills have been the biggest thing going on. So what are my symptoms? Okay, and this actually started, this symptom, where my face getting really flush and burning, that started back way before Christmas. That started sometime in the fall. We had a Jeep group run um, down to Mary's Cafe, and I remember sitting in the cafe and my face felt like it was on fire. That's a symptom. That has, for a lot of it, has subsided. It's flushed and hot right now, but excuse me. A lot of that has subsided. It was multiple times a day, and now maybe it's a few times a week. Um, I'm off balance. I get dizzy, especially if I'm trying to stand or if I'm sitting somewhere that I'm not supported. If I have to try to, sit up like this for any amount of time, I start getting really flushed and hot and feeling somewhat faint. So those are the main symptoms that I've been having. I've had really hot hands and really cold hands and tingly feet. And sweaty feet and cold. Sometimes it feels like there's ice running through my veins. But a lot of that subsided too with the anxiety medication. So I don't think it's all anxiety by any stretch of the imagination, but that's at least helped calm things down. But as I said at the beginning of this, I have posted several things about my health, but I haven't actually got to talk to a lot of you in person because I have been pretty much staying at home or going to work or going to the doctor. And I really want to, I've had a lot of support from family, emotional support, but I really want to give a shout out to my friend Christy, who has been with me at a lot of these appointments, a lot of these ER visits, and who's really helped me through what has been the most difficult time in my life as far as my health goes. I have never felt like this, and this started back in February. It's now May, and I still don't have any answers. I still don't know what's going on. But her support and her taking me places and things like that have really been instrumental in my mental health. And of course, Jeremy's really been helpful, and I appreciate all the prayers and stuff from my family. But I am, knock on wood, I am okay. I think that something's out of whack and we don't know what that is. And we'll eventually get it figured out. And I'm just here for my, 100,000 mile tune-up to see what's going on. And hopefully it's something simple. But I am able to now at least 90% of the time function. I couldn't even get out of bed for several days. I tried to make dinner one time 2 months ago, and I almost passed out from doing that. So I have been able to mow the yard. I have been able to drive mostly normally now. I've gone back to work several days a week, and today, if you saw my Facebook post, I drove out to Bridgeport. That's not a lot of physical activity. I was just driving, but I think I said I've mowed the yard, but several times now. I'm trying to build my stamina up a little bit too, because I have been really sedentary. You can't tell it from the camera, but I have lost weight throughout all this as well, because one of the things that's been affected is my appetite. A lot of times I don't want to eat anything, but I have to remind myself to eat. So that's the latest and the greatest. That's what's going on. We don't have any answers. This is like a checklist. High blood pressure, check, that's done. We've got that under control. Now we're doing all these other tests to see what else is causing these feelings. As I said, it's not been fun, and this has been a difficult time, but we will get through this. I will get through this, and I'm very hopeful I'll have some answers in the next 30 days or so, and we can start living life more normally, and I can get back out and start doing the things I love, and start visiting people, and start having people coming back over here too. So thank you so much for listening. And now here's the weird zoom of my face coming into the camera as I press the stop button on the record.